This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com with a daily wrestling news update. Tons of news today. Sammy Guevara is cleared to wrestle after him and his wife gave birth the other day. He had a kid on November 28th with his wife, Mello, who is also a wrestler in AEW. He had a concussion. The ratings came out for Rampage and Collision over the weekend. Collision did a 0.09 and Rampage did a 0.08. What I don't understand, it's like they've given up on even trying to get these shows good ratings. I mean, they're advertising the big thing for Rampage this week is Dalhousen, or however you pronounce its return. To quote Tony Schiavone, that's really going to put some butts in the seats. But legit, I mean, they've got Ric Flair under contract, and I know I've said this a million times, but they've yet to advertise Ric Flair for a TV appearance, one of the all-time greats. Fans like me, if I had cable, which I don't anymore, but if I did, I would watch Ric Flair's return. Meltzer has said that the average drop year over year is 11% for Dynamite, for it to go down, but Rampage has lost a lot more than 11% viewers, and for people that say the TV ratings are just dropping across the board, that is true. However, NFL's ratings, because NFL is so popular, remain steady. Of course, SmackDown had their lowest rating in 24 years, other than a New Year's Eve highlight show back in 2021 this past week. Alexa Bliss also had a kid with Brian Cabrera, former musician. He probably still is, but he hasn't had a hit for a while. They had a kid on November 27th. They married back on April 9th. Wembley Stadium ticket sales for All In this year are very strong. Not as strong as last year, but they've sold over 27,000 in the first couple of days of tickets being on sale. Punk's quarter hour, which was the last quarter hour of Raw, was the third lowest quarter hour of the show. Punk is going to be a Raw guy. Raw ratings have also been down this year. Now, that's not a knock on Punk. That's a knock on, like, who's going to stay up for that late into the show. So they probably put that as the last segment on the show to try and hold viewers. It probably would have got a lot more viewers if it had been the first segment of the show. Sting, his retirement show is going to be at Revolution, March 3rd at the Greensboro Coliseum in North Carolina. That is a classic NWA wrestling location. I'm sure they could. I'll be shocked if they don't sell out for that. One thing that's interesting is they keep putting Sting appearances on, but they're not advertising them as Sting's last appearances in the city. And as you can see, like the AEW on the side they're shooting at generally has good crowds, but on the side that they don't show on TV, it usually has only like 2 to 3 rows on the floor. And the stands are pretty empty, as you can see in this recent picture of Sting from Dynamite. And it's interesting that they're not like advertising these as this is your last chance to see Sting in these cities. In other wrestling news, that's about it for now, but I'll get back to you with the Dynamite rating later today at 4 p.m. today. I am interviewing Evan Ginsberg, one of the producers of the Wrestler movie and producer of the 350 Days movie that's out on YouTube and Tubi, among other locations now. Both of those movies are really good. You know, honestly, I did watch The Wrestler recently again, and I have to say that it's more realistic as far as like what happens to a lot of wrestlers, how far they drop from their glory years. That happens to a lot of wrestlers. As far as like the fans clapping after matches and so forth, honestly, I've never seen that happen other than one time after my match at the Ottawa Civic Center with the coffee pot after Abdullah. I wrestled Abdullah with the coffee pot. I know I was being stretchered out of the arena, taken straight to the hospital to get over 80 stitches, and people were clapping probably just for the brutality of the match. And I know what's happened sometimes. They've shown it like on Beyond the Mat and stuff, but I think the wrestler guy gets Mickey Rourke's character gets like 2 or 3 standing ovations after independent matches. And the one thing I will say about unrealistic of the wrestlers is how much camaraderie there is in wrestling dressing rooms, even at the independent level and all the way up to like the big leagues like AEW. You always hear about the problems in the locker rooms. There's cliques, and not everybody is all friends back there. So I do think, as far as the wrestler movie, the most unrealistic thing is how friendly all wrestlers are with each other, because it's a very cutthroat political business. But as far as like how sad it can be working on the independents, and when wrestlers, some of them work real jobs. I mean, Justin Credible is a good example of a guy that was former ECW champion, had a good long run in WWE, and has become a complete and total bum and loser over the years. And that happens in a lot of cases.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates.